guys, and welcome to this week's Mixed Media Monday. I'm doing this adorable little fairy today, and the reference I got is from thepixies.com. I reached out to them to see if I could have permission to do my own take on that, and they were super nice and said yes, as long as we were referenced. So they have an amazing Facebook page with 17,000 followers that shows you how awesome and amazing they are, and I would encourage you to go check them out because their work is so sweet. It's ridiculous, and they have great resources on their website too, with a library of stories and a gallery of artwork and a store. So check it out at thepixies.com. So I didn't have a ton of time today at all. I plan to do still a full-fledged mixed media project on this with my Mod Podge and my Pit Pens and the whole nine, but I didn't have time today. I've been super busy organizing the Scotland retreat, speaking of fairies, and hopefully you guys tuned into last night's fairy story that was given and recorded by Lucy Bryden. If you haven't checked that out yet, you have to. It is so crazy creepy and cool. I'll link to that right here up at the corner, that little eye right there, you'll see. And seriously, go check it out. You will not be sorry. It is the coolest thing. My kids were like, what? So anyways, back to the art. I'm using brand new pencils I just got. They were recommended by a student. I'm sorry, not a student. They were rather recommended to me by Jenny Mann, who's weirdly my other co-teacher on the Scotland retreat. That's bizarro. So Lucy and Jenny are with me in spirit today as well. Jenny's out in California and Lucy's in Scotland already. So I just bought this pencil set based on her recommendations, and I love them. I was always a huge pencil user, and these I will put a link in the description box. They're seriously, I love like a weighted meaty mechanical pencil, and that's exactly how these are. I just, there's something about the like slick cold metal, and they have a real weight to them. This is the 0.5 that I'm using, and I bought the gift set for myself because it comes with a replacement ink, leads in there, and my lead never broke. Ever. Even when I used the 0.3, they did a really good job of being very sturdy. So these are fantastic pencils, and I will be using them for a long time. My Pentel ones I wore out, which is the only reason that I bought myself a new set. So, okay, so what's my objective when I'm doing these toned paper drawings? I love me some toned paper drawings. I love it because I don't need to worry about the midtones in what I'm drawing. The midtones are already there, so all I need to do is three things. I need to worry about the outline and getting my proportions somewhat correct. I need to worry about shadows, and then I need to worry about highlights. And that is it. So on days where I want to bang out some art and do my daily practice, and that's what I love about doing mixed media Mondays and Fashion Fridays, is it forces me to adhere to a practice schedule. So we all know that we get better with practice, and that never goes away. And no matter how good you or I get, we can only get better with more practice. So that is why I've set up that strict schedule for myself, because otherwise I just get too busy. I have 3 kids at home. I had to drive a half an hour out of my way today to go pick up something my 12-year-old left in my husband's car on the way to work. And I had to drive all the way up to Durham and get it and go all the way back and drop it off at his school. And normally when I'm feeling mean, I would never do that, but we want our kids to be successful, and he has a base to carry in and a backpack and blah, 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 so he has his hands full enough. So anyways, I digress. Let's just say I would not be doing this art project today had it not been for my strict schedule that I'm giving myself. And that is very important for me to make art and my practice a priority. So no, come hell or high water, I'm getting these videos out to you. And I'm doing it for your, inspiration and education and entertainment. But I'm also doing it for selfish reasons, which is that every time I draw and every time I paint, I am, working on my skills. So I would love it if you draw with me and got arty with me, and we can do this together. So I just went from my pencil drawing, and now I did a little bit of shading with that Sharpie China marker. And a China marker is like a wax base pencil, and I'll put a link to it right here. Look at the eye in the corner, and that's a little video on like what the heck is a China marker. But anyways, I use my little shading with a China marker, and then I'm using my Posca. This is a paint pen, and you can also just use a regular Sharpie for this step. But the reason I'm using a paint pen instead is that it really like lays, oh, there's that China pencil. It really lays down on top of the toned paper. This is like a grocery bag, so when you use a Sharpie, a lot of like the little fibers from the grocery bag get caught up, and it kind of dries my Sharpies out faster than if I were using it on like a regular paper or cardstock. So using the paint pens, it does a better job of just gliding over that paper. So that's why I'm using the Posca pen today, and it comes with different nib sizes, and I'm using both the 0.3 and the 0.1, I believe. So just so you know, you have options. But the China marker is so cool. It doesn't come to a fine tip, so you can't really like do fine detail work at all, but it's fantastic. It works so well on this toned paper, and the white does too. I actually couldn't find my white. This is the downside of like being an art supply hoarder and bringing it wherever you go. And I mean, I have art supplies in every single bag, in every purse. And then I spread my art supplies around and I can't find them anymore. So that's what happened to the white. But I do have this other white, of course, that is also wax base. It's like a wax oil base. It's by Jerry's Autorama. I've never actually even used it before, and it worked great on the toned paper. I forget what it's called. You can see it there, but it's called a Jumbo Jerry's marker or something like that. And it comes in black. I think it comes in brown, black, and white. So I love it. So anyways, I'm using that in lieu of my white China marker today, and it works great. So when I want to have like, I have highlights that are sort of subtle highlights, I use the China, and I want to really punch a packful white highlight, then I use my Posca pen or any paint marker instead of the China marker, because it's just an undeniable white highlight, right? So I use that very sparingly and very specifically in pieces that I want to like pack a punch, like the whites of her eyes and the whites of the like eye shine, the reflection of the light in her eye will also be made from the white marker. So using the white highlight sparingly instead of everywhere, because I've done projects where I use it like all over the place, and then what happens is it loses its impact because it's just kind of like obnoxious white highlights everywhere. So if you can use it more sparingly, then it actually has more of an impact. So less is more when you're using your white highlight pens. But these little drawing practices on toned paper are just really fine-tune and hone my observation skills. So grab something off of Pinterest, and again, like if you can get permission from the artist, that's awesome. If it's in the privacy of your own home and no one's ever going to see it's for practice, don't grab whatever you want, right? But if you're, advertising or shouting it out, it's important for me to let everybody know, like, hey, yo, this is not my original design. I grabbed it from this super amazing other artist who said it was okay. It just makes me feel better. I don't want to like deceive anyone to thinking that something is authentic when it's not mine. And then go to town. Practice your skills, and it's just such good practice. And that toned paper, again, I only have to deal with my outlines, the shadows, and the highlights, and it makes me focus on what is important and what needs to stand out. Those are my highlights, and what is going to be back, and what making the shade behind on either side of her face where her hair comes down makes her face come forward. So making sure that is as dark as it needs to be. It could even be darker, but it doesn't get, that China marker doesn't make like super jet black marks. So I could have left it like this, but I did notice there was sort of a background in their sketch, and I thought, well, I have the white, I have the black, I might as well see what I can do here. And this is just for fun, this is just for practice. Plus she's super cute. When I turn to her on my page, it makes me so happy. So that's why I did her specifically. She's adorable. So yeah, so this is, you can see a demo right now of how the China marker works. It's like a construction marker. It writes on glass and on wood and like everything. So that's why I think it's originally been used for like potters and carpenters. You can write prices, like Goodwill uses it to write prices on the bottom of like vases and whatnot. So there's some super utilitarian uses for those China markers, but I do like them. For some reason, I love them in my tone journals. They just quick and dirty and work super well. And yeah, so I hope you like this mini mixed media lesson today. I'm going to do, I think, a bigger project with her next week when I have more time. But I'm so glad that I made the time and the effort to do the little that I did today, and I hope you enjoyed it too. And I will get back to doing some animals again next week as well. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you on Wednesday for some watercolors this week, and as well as on Friday for some fashion illustrations. So thanks for arting with me, and have an awesome day, you guys. I will see you later. Bye.